and we read for a good hour and a half and did not finish that. It's pretty amazing, really, that realtors are not as concerned about making money as they need to be, right? What's the other app? The Tube that Google owns, the red play button app. You can find me there, same name. Hello, Toronto. I think real estate is coming to an end. I think the days of the real estate agents, the way they used to be, are ending. Can I call the owner and talk to them? Yeah, but they're still under a contract. So let's say I called the owner directly and said, I want to buy this house. The realtor's contract says that even if I contacted them directly, the realtor would still get commission. So the realtor is going to get paid either way and would literally be able to sue in order to get paid in that situation. Yeah, there are numerous times. So I have a friend who's an extremely talented divorce attorney who does divorces for the wealthy people, right? And it's not unusual for him to get paid $40,000, $50,000 to do a big divorce with lots of assets and things like that. And he's complained to me before about all the hours and all the expertise and going through the trial and going through with letters to judges and everything else. And then the judge comes out with the forced sale of the house, and the house is a $1.5 million property. Well, guess who gets paid the most in the divorce? The realtors, who show up after a court-ordered sale and just has to open the house up and say, look around, you want to make it? That's who gets paid the most in those divorce situations, more than the attorney who has to go through all the work making sure everything's correct. The realtor will make more money than that. That's absurd. As always, during our vampire story nights, every 50,000 likes, so if you tap, tap, tap and give the hearts, every 50,000 likes, I'll perform some magic for you. So if you enjoy magic, make sure to tap, tap, tap. Don't worry, the wife will show up very soon. It is the privilege of a beautiful lady to keep us all waiting anxiously for her arrival. What did I do before real estate? I was a technology consultant. I help companies with technology, small businesses and such. Have I done an eviction yet? No, I will do an update probably tomorrow or the next day concerning the potential eviction tenant. Hello, Jaden. Welcome in. I'm glad you're joining us again. Here in about 38 minutes, we're going to begin reading the Varney the Vampire, which is a story 50 years older than Dracula and quite amazing. Hello, Sandra. Welcome in. You're reading the Robert Kiyosaki from my live last week. Awesome. That is a life-changing book. Where's my beautiful wife? She is getting ready. It is the privilege of a beautiful, beautiful woman to keep us all waiting anxiously for her arrival. The camera's not pointed that way this time, dear. I'm enjoying watching her get ready. She's a little distracting if I seem distracted. What are we talking about? So there was a home that I was looking to do a purchase on for a potential Airbnb. So I call up the realtor that's got it listed and say, hey, I'd like to buy this house. And he says, okay, well, I'm busy today, maybe tomorrow. So I call him back the next day. And he's like, you know, this is just 45 minutes away from me. It's too far for me to drive. Or no, he at first says, I'm busy this week. Why don't we try next week? So I put him off till next week. Or I get put off till next week by this realtor. So I wait. Week goes by. I don't hear back from him, so I call him up and say, look, man, I really want to buy this house. I'm probably the only guy that will buy it because it's a huge project, and only a person that does Airbnbs or something like me could make it work. So he's like, yeah, look, it's just 45 minutes away. That's too far. I'm not going to drive over here. And I don't want to drive over there to show you this house. Why don't you find another realtor to do it? Literally put me off. This guy gets paid 3% commission of whatever this home sells for. It's going to be several $1,000s, probably $5,000 or $6,000 minimum commission that he's going to make on this. And he doesn't even want to drive 45 minutes to show somebody that says, I may want to buy this house, the house. Like, that's mind blow. That's bad enough. But he says, why don't you find another realtor to do it? So I call up in the city. It's about an hour and 45 minutes for me to go see this house. I called down the list of realtors, and all the realtors just put me off. They like, no, they don't even answer their phones. So I leave messages. Hey, I want to buy this specific house. Could you call me about it so we can set an appointment? Don't call me back. Every realtor, none of them calls me back. It's absolutely absurd. And welcome in, India. I hope your realtors are better there. None of them wanted to make the money, I guess. So then I called more realtors on Tuesday, and I finally got one of them to agree to show it to me today. So I cleared my schedule today so I could go out there, do a walkthrough video, possibly buy this really cool house. And the realtor messages me just before I'm about to leave and says, hey, don't worry about coming up here. They took the key with them when they left town, so you can't see the house. And I was like, what? What? So anyway, it's absolutely absurd. And come to your office and see what's all over the wall. What's all over your wall, Aline? My wife used to have her real estate license, and I could just renew her license, but in reality, it wouldn't have fixed the problem. These folks literally left with the keys, and they didn't have a real estate box put on the house. Like, the guy has not even driven out there to put a key box on this listing he's had for more than 2 weeks. Like, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. You have awards for 40 years. Well, that's amazing. So let me tell you another, and this isn't just to pick on realtors, but real estate has to change. The system is broken, and I'm glad the Supreme Court has made some things to uphold this. But I'll tell another realtor story. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Shane. I do Airbnbs, I real estate invest, buy properties. I bought 3 houses this year, none of them with a realtor. But I have bought houses with realtors. And when I buy a home, I usually try to buy it from the listing agent directly. So I will try to contact whoever the listing agent is and work with them directly when I'm going to buy it. I like to do that. I feel like their doubled up commission gives them more focus, things like that. My wife was literally a realtor for a few years. And so another real estate horror story though. So the first thing I went famous for on TikTok was selling a home with an S*X dungeon in it, right? Top 5 most viewed homes on Realtor.com that year. It went absolutely viral. There were news stories about it in the Wall Street Journal. A home for sale in Van Buren, Arkansas ended up in the Wall Street Journal. It was amazing, and it was great. That's what we wanted. I'm an internet marketing guy. I put a lot of effort into making our house go viral and making sure people saw it. So I have the very first person show up to look at my house, and to be clear, we had lines of people going in front of our house to take selfies in front of our house and stuff, just to post it online to show that they were, like, people wanted to see this house. The very first person shows up. I see them on the Ring camera because, going in, the realtor's there, and I'm curious. So I open the Ring thing when the notification comes in and see the guy, and I'm like, darling, look at this guy. He's going to buy our house. It's clear. Like, this guy is absolutely the guy to buy our house. He shows up to look at my house wearing a kilt. Wearing a kilt. He's got leather on. I mean, he is absolutely the guy that's going to buy an S*X dungeon. Like, he's the guy. And he's excited about it, very clearly. So he's there with an older realtor, and I know this realtor. I've actually bought houses from this realtor before. And I'm like, this is great. This is going to be no problem. So he goes in through the house, comes out, and then he stands in front of my Ring doorbell and tells the realtor, I want to make an offer on this house. And the realtor says, no, you don't want to do that. And I'm like, what? And so I'm just sitting there with the recording because it records the whole thing while they're moving. This realtor literally talked the dude out of buying my house. And the reason why was, like, he just made up a couple of things and instead said, no, you should buy this other one. And I looked it up, and the one that he wanted him to buy was one of his own listings, so he would make double the commission. This realtor literally talked the person out of buying my home so he could talk him into selling another one. He was like, look at the roof there. You see this problem? My house made a perfect inspection. The inspector was like, wow, this is amazing. It was no problem. Like, it was absolute. And I know that's against the law, but what do you really do on a lawsuit? Like, I pay an attorney thousands and thousands of dollars and go through months of time to go through a lawsuit and I win. Like, it's absurd. It's illegal. They shouldn't be doing that. But that's the kind of thing that, and realtors have been doing this for a long time. But we're to the point now where real estate can be done with way less realtors and way more good realtors, like really good realtors. I'm all for keeping, but we don't need to have every grandma in town and every, part-time realtor. Like, we don't need that the way that it needed to be. Saying what do realtors do is like saying all landlords are scumbags. I understand, but we need to change. It absolutely needs to change. Putting an investors class together, absolutely. I've considered putting investor classes together. What do I do with all the trash from a previous tenant? Do you just pile it on the curb, or do you pay for one of those dumpsters to remove it? So I have a haul-off guy that will load it up and take dump loads to the dump. That's what I do with all that. Have I ever converted a church to a home? No, but it's been on my bucket list to do for a while. Well, I'm good friends with his son, and had done a lot of work with his son in the past. So I actually sent the clip to his son and was like, "Hey, man." And his son is a realtor too. I'm like, "Your dad did me dirty," and I don't know. It's just one of those things where I don't know the best way to handle it. But I did let somebody know that he worked with and to hopefully help make some corrective behavior, because that needs to be corrected. That wasn't cool. I don't have a permit to sit on this couch, Bergie. Can you pronounce realtor instead of realtor? I think I just did that for you. How much money do I lose on an eviction? Well, any of the rent, of course. It takes about $150 to pay for a eviction in Arkansas, so it's not particularly expensive. Like Skeletor, Realtor, right? Skeletor, Realtor. Isn't it the same thing? He-Man. Thoughts on investing in real estate with family members? Don't do it. Do not do that. Thank you, bud. And just to be clear, like, maybe I'm out of line on calling out realtors, but I think it is time that things change. I know too many realtors that they just make their money off listings. They don't go on it. Like, that whole system of being able to make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars with other people running the stuff and you're just coordinating phone calls, that has to change. That needs to be done. We need to move on. I started off as a homeowner. I was not a realtor, no. She is not distracting me behind the camera at this moment. If you had a paid off home, what would you start buying? Fixer-uppers and renting properties? I would take out a mortgage on the home and use those to make down payments to buy several other rental properties, which is exactly what I did. Although my home wasn't paid for, it was I'd had it for 15 years and had paid it down a lot and improved it a lot. Did you both settle the cleaning debacle this morning? I don't remember the cleaning debacle. What was the cleaning debacle? Thoughts on buying homes in HOA communities? I was hoping to make a video today about that when this realtor got me sideways, where I didn't get to go view this house. But this house was in an HOA, and that was one of the things I could talk about it. I generally try to avoid HOAs. To evict someone for not paying rent, how long does it take before they finally have to move out? And what do you have to give them, like a 2-week notice or something? So I just did a video about it a couple days ago, but I gave a 3-day notice is what's necessary. So the 3rd day will be tomorrow. She contacted me finally. She's not been talking to me. After that, if she doesn't get me the money tomorrow, I can go to the courthouse and file. My court will be either this upcoming Wednesday or the Wednesday after. Whichever one it is, the very next day, the eviction will be final. Like, the sheriff will show up and they will be removed from the house the very next day. In Arkansas, it takes less than 2 weeks to do an eviction. In some states, it takes a lot longer to do an eviction. Most states, it takes a lot longer. People think that's a good thing, but I can promise you, if you're in a state like California, part of the reason why your rent is so high and why it can be so hard to find a good place to live is because it takes months and months and months to do an eviction. And so landlords have to charge more in their places so they can bank that money in case they have to get paid while you're not paying rent to do evictions, because they're still going to have mortgages. They're still going to have maintenance. They're still going to have all these things to do. Yeah, and that's part of the reason why you have squatters, and that's part of the reason why you have difficulty with landlords and all these other things. I didn't realize Canadians didn't have fixed interest rates on their loans. That's interesting. So somebody says, will Canadians ever get fixed interest rates? You absolutely should, Joe. And if you want to talk about it, send me a message. We can talk about what you got going. Where do you go to see the most accurate listing of the value of your home? Uh, well, so first off, there is no, this is the most accurate. The most accurate is to hire an appraiser. But appraisers don't even give you the most accurate value of your home, because appraisers now are required to appraise homes for lending purposes based on certain rubrics that were established after the 2008 housing crash. So after that, they set all these rules, and basically now your home is going to be compared to other homes in your area that have sold recently that are similar. And if there's not a lot of comparable homes, it makes it a little bit kind of wonky. But homes that have been sold or are for sale in your area, what is the price per square foot of those homes? So if it's $100 a square foot for homes in the area, your home will be valued at $100 times the number of square feet. That's how they're going to calculate it. And basements count for half. So if you have basement square footage, it's valued at half the cost per square foot. And there's certain formulas, and it's literally math. It doesn't matter if you go and literally put gold bars to build the inside of your walls and put sapphire studded walls on the inside with chandeliers that are Tchaikovsky crystals and all these other things that cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. None of that changes your appraisal. I try to make 2% most of the time. 1% is definitely the minimum in most areas. Where I live, I can generally make 2% on my investments. Zestimates are getting better. They're not bad. On Zillow, if you look at the Zestimate, it's gotten a lot better. It used to be way off, but I think they've improved how that works now. I have the screen that's on the tube, and then I have the screen that's on the TikTok, so we're streaming two different places. So there are some things that can change, like if you have hardwood floors, then they can look for comps with other homes with hardwood floors, so it can affect the homes they pick. Having new updates, like if your house had the kitchen remodeled recently, it doesn't matter if you got the island with the waterfall table or not. If it was just remodeled, it's by the remodel date of the kitchen, not the style of the kitchen. And this is where HGTV leads so many people astray. There are so many people that will spend so much money on things, and I may be on an HGTV show at some point. We're talking to producers, but I'm going to try to not lead people astray where they do all these expensive upgrades that don't necessarily increase the value of your home. How much does an appraisal run? It depends on where you're at. Around here, about $600. They look for some other things, like do they have a garage, things like that to help make the homes more comparable, but yeah, most of the time it just comes down to cost per square foot. I'm planning on taking up all the carpet in my father's trailer and replacing it with wood flooring. Which would you recommend, hardwood floor or linoleum? In a trailer, probably vinyl plank or linoleum. You're not going to increase the value of a trailer home by putting in real hardwood floors or anything. The wife is back, and she looks really excited. What are you so excited about, dear?
I got me some shoes.
Shoes?
I have shoes.
Oh my God, shoes.
I love shoes.
You love shoes.
I do.
You have 2 boxes of shoes.
I needed flats, so I bought myself some flats. And these are from Hot Chocolate Design International, and these are their dark chocolate design series. So
I get to hold these? I feel so blessed.
don't you love it? It's little coffin cakes.
Are you wanting to show off your shoes? Is that why you brought them in here?
Yes.
Do you want to
Because
see
I'm
her
happy.
shoes?
I needed some flats, and they make the cutest goth flats.
Okay. So I'll let you do the opening of these because clearly this is something you're excited about.
Yes. So first off, you have to see inside the lid. It says "Embrace your darkness."
I don't think they can read that because it's mirrored.
I know it's mirrored. It's okay.
And you just threw it in the floor. Just throw it.
I just threw it.
Just
Yeah.
throw it.
But they saw the font.
Ah, okay.
They could see the font.
Okay.
Oh. Embrace your darkness.
I just realized there were 2 phones going.
That one's so dark. Okay. I'm just so happy. So here's the first set. It's got butterflies, which, as you know, butterflies are a symbol of the soul and the spirit, kind of like a psychopomp. So if you don't know what the word psychopomp is, it's pretty cool. You can look it up. But that would be a creature or spirit that is a guide through the afterlife. Butterflies. And then, even better, and I haven't gotten all the stuff out of this. Got bats. Bats and strawberries. Oh my goodness.
I don't know why you always think strawberries are so cute.
I love strawberries. So yeah, they are asymmetrical in their design. You can see the little bat hugging a strawberry. Hugging the strawberry.
So is it a fruit bat?
And yes, these are fruit bats.
Mm.
And it has a little clip that fits on the shoe.
Where did you get them from again? Somebody wants to know.
Hot Chocolate Design International. I'm going to do an unboxing video on my channel and I will tag Hot Chocolate. But they also come with a little thing to help clean the shoes. They come with a little like shoe eraser thing.
I do have a 2-bedroom available right now if you want to send me a message for your daughter. I do have a 2-bedroom available and I'll have a 3-bedroom available soon. I remodel homes. Where are you from? Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Yep. Little coffin boxes. Ah.
What if I didn't approve for the home loan, but I can make the payments on the loan? So banks are required to look at certain stipulations like DTI, credit scores, things like that.
DTI is debt to income ratio.
Yeah, so banks can't get outside of that when they're lending to you. They're limited. It's not the banks being, they
It's
just have
the law.
certain requirements. But there are other ways of getting loans in some cases. And there are ways, once you learn what those limits are, to adjust yourself within the rubric so you can meet their things. Because most banks make money off giving you loans. Banks want to lend to you. Absolutely. Most loan officers are commissioned and make more money when they give you a loan. They only make money off the loans. But, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
They do have some clown ones.
Well, thank you, Catherine. Yeah, we definitely have 2 different streams going. We're trying to grow our other channels right now, so I'm looking back and forth between our different channels. It's just a kind of thing that I'm supposed to do as an influencer at some point.
I feel like you still have them too far away, and that's part of our problem.
Over here on this one, I can't make the writing big on that one. This one I can make the writing big on. So I wish I could make the writing bigger on that, but it's so little.
I'm going to see if I can readjust it.
Okay. It's real easy to do. Okay, now nothing is in screen.
Except my hair.
It's like The Grudge.
There, how's that?
Let me help. Move your foot. That's about where it needs to be.
Well, I was trying to put them kind of closer together
I
this
get
way.
it, but the tripods don't really allow that, do they?
Yeah.
I've kind of been trying to do this for a little bit. I know. I'm going to turn the air up so that your bare legs will be okay.
I have human legs.
Oh, sorry, your human legs will be okay.
Vampirus legs.
I like her outfit too. It's amazing. She did do a perfect grudge noise, didn't she? She's amazing. You wouldn't want her to have a grudge against you. You wish my wife would make a video on a goth tutorial. I've always wanted to do the look, but just don't know how. I don't know that she does goth exactly. I mean, a lot of people think of the kinds of things that she does as goth, but it's really not.
I'm kind of gothy.
Yeah.
As the winter
I have a
time,
1904
much
cottage,
more.
exquisite views, Appalachian
more
Mountains with a 500-foot of wedding barn venue. That sounds amazing. A lot of people like barn weddings now.
The lip shade, I have 2 lip shades on. One is cranberry stiletto, and the other one is raspberry tiramisu. So I kind of used them together to do a little bit of dimension.
Someone says you should do videos on being a good wife. You're submissive in the best ways.
Aww.
Aw, she is.
Thank you. You still feel that way even after I was grumpy this morning?
You were grumpy this morning. Needlessly grumpy, by the way. Let's go over that. Did it turn out that I was correct?
It turns out that you didn't quite communicate.
What? No. Quit trying to politically spin this, politician, okay? This isn't the press conference, Trump, okay? Come on now. Did it turn out that I was correct?
You did put in the
Information
listing
correctly. And if you had just done the things that the system said, would everything have been fine?
Everything would have been fine if we just
And
did
if
the
we had
things
waited
that the system
15
says.
minutes, would anything have changed in the whole situation of things while I finished my game of chess? Nothing would have changed,
I
right?
suppose nothing would have changed.
So the entire...
The thing that was happening was I was trying to communicate with our cleaning staff.
Yeah?
Our cleaning staff had questions and you weren't giving a straight answer.
I couldn't give you a straight answer because I was playing a game of chess and I couldn't stop to be able to look to give you the information. And it could have waited the 15 minutes that it was necessary to finish the game, could it not?
I suppose it could have.
Yes. I love you. Yes, we're going to be reading Varney the Vampire in 15 minutes. This is a classic story from the 1840s.
Thank you, Emma.
Yep.
I can do no wrong.
Somebody
I
wanted to
feel
see
like
my
I was
teeth.
right, of course. That my cleaner was asking questions and trying to plan her day, and we needed answers.
The answer was in the system. If you just trusted that I was correct, it would have been fine, right?
Correct, yes.
So the problem is you didn't think that I did something
we
correctly.
both-
You assumed
okay,
that I messed up.
We both the cleaner and I actually had misunderstandings based on different things that you had said.
So you two didn't communicate correctly.
And we communicated. I communicated to her what I thought you said. And
Keep trying to spin
Anyway.
your way out of this, politician. Come on. It depends on what the definition of the word
she
is.
had visual confusion as she drove past the properties.
Right.
So we had confusion, and we were asking you for confirmation, and you were not delivering.
Yeah, and it was an hour before it was relevant to anything, and I asked you to wait a few minutes. I love you. Oh, Shane does absolutely admit to being wrong. There are times. Does Shane admit to being wrong, dear?
He does.
Yes, but I also admit to being right, don't I?
Yes.
You can't expect me to admit to being wrong and not expect me to admit to being right. I'm a narcissist. Run away. Get away from me, dear. I'm a narcissist. You might catch it.
As it becomes more cooler weather, my wardrobe does become quite a bit more goth.
When we get to 50,000 likes up
Thank
here on
you.
TikTok, I will perform some magic for you. So remember, the tap, tap, taps will be rewarded.
We're drinking water with electrolytes in it. Sodium, potassium, and magnesium, although I don't feel like mine's very salty today.
Would you like me to go salt the water some more for you?
It'll be okay. You're going to have to fetch me another glass eventually.
Of course.
Trying to get the live started here on my device.
Yes, it'll be necessary in a minute. Banter. That's the closest thing to a disagreement you'll see us do in most cases.
Liquid IV is sugary.
Yeah, I wish YouTube had the like count like TikTok does. I think that's a nice
Okay,
feature.
I have a question. Does anybody know if there is an unflavored liquid IV? So there's nothing added to it. So no artificial sweeteners, no sweeteners, no hidden ingredients, just straight up liquid IV electrolytes. Because that's what I'm getting from Element.
Well, thank you, Jimmy.
Just straight up sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Yeah. So I do one that is just basic salt. So they have liquid salt IV? Okay. I will look for that.
Mm-hmm. She is beautiful.
How do I make my water? I also do a homemade um, electrolyte mix. So I buy bulk supplements of magnesium malate and potassium. I want to say citrate. I'd have to look at my bag to see what potassium it is. So I do a magnesium and potassium, and then I buy sea salt, and I will physically mix that recipe together for our at-home use. And then I buy like the packets of the electrolyte mixes for when we are on the go.
So somebody's asking, David is hosting an Airbnb. Is David one of my employees? I am David. David is my
That's his
first
name.
name, and Airbnb goes off of my identification. I have never in my life been called David. My mother never intended to call me David. She just thought David made a poor middle name and sounded better as a first name and didn't see a reason why it would matter. So David Shane is my name. So Airbnb just goes with the ID. That's why you see that.
There are definitely multiple magnesiums, and I'm using magnesium malate in the mix that I make at home, just because that's what Element uses. So that's what I picked up. I do have another magnesium supplement that takes several different types of magnesium. So it's a mixture of a lot of different sorts.
You'd like to see me to expand to your area.
Thank
Well,
you.
at some point that may very well happen. How long have we been married? A long time.
23 years. Have we tried Relight? Yes.
That's the one that's done by the Redmond Salt Company, right?
Yes.
Yes. That's a very sodium heavy, but it's good. And we like Redmond real salt. They're out of Utah.
Is there a magnesium that helps with stiff joints and bones? I'm sure that there is, but I don't know the name of it, that particular one straight off.
How do we only have 5 people here? We need more. That's because my channel on the tube hasn't gotten as big as I would like it to be. I need to do more time on here. You know, right now there are 540 people on
Sprays.
TikTok. So if I feel like I'm neglecting the tube audience, I'm sorry. I love you guys too. It's just we have so many comments happening on TikTok so fast.
And we're going to look for some better tripods, I think.
Yeah, I think I need to find one that will have at least 3 or 4 so we can stream on more than one at a time because we have several different platforms I'm neglecting.
What
Somebody's
is
asking
your
about Twitch.
IQ?
Take a guess.
So 100 would be considered average
Right.
IQ, and he's definitely above that. Big Salt in Salt Lake City, Utah. Is it near Redmond? Because that's a lot of Redmond salt. Is what we buy a lot of Redmond salt in our house. We have some Meldons as well, and was it Baja Gold? I have some of that.
Do you remember walking with an umbrella and seeing me and my daughter? We were just reminiscing. Well, we've walked with umbrellas many times and met many people with daughters, so I don't specifically remember
Are
that
you
one.
perhaps thinking of my son Parasol? I'll be right back. I'll
Oh,
fetch
we
it.
got to 50,000 likes. It's time. Wait, you have to help me with this magic trick here.
Oh, all right.
So I always start with this one because if I do this one first, we might get to do it again before the day's
I don't
over.
know where all the things went that were over here.
What?
Oh, they're there.
What are you after?
Things and stuff. Whoops, I'm sitting on the pillow.
So I'm the only person in the world that can do this trick. So you guys are in for a real treat. What I have here is a deck of cards. What I'm going to do is very simple. I'm going to take a card from this deck, flip it around backwards, and put it in backwards. Okay? So there'll be a card backwards in this deck. What makes this difficult and what makes it I'm the only person in the world that can do it is I'm going to do this using only my tongue. Nothing else. Somebody tell me a card. And not the ace of spades. That's always boring.
Now the ace of base, on the other hand, they were fun.
Oh.
You got 3 of clubs?
Uh-huh.
Really,
Uh-huh.
you want to do that one too, the 9 of diamonds.
Oh. Uh-huh.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention earlier.
Uh-huh.
3 of clubs and the 9 of diamonds. The 3 of clubs and the 9 of diamonds. 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 Thank you, Kelly. 3 of clubs and the 9 of diamonds.
All right. Let's see if you can find the 3 of clubs or the 9 of diamonds in here as we spread these out. See those anywhere?
Doobie 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 doobie.
What about this one?
Doobie 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 doobie. Ooh. Do 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 do.
That's pretty cool. See this one right here? If I just picked your card, send me a galaxy.
That is a talent for sure.
You can see the card isn't in there. These are the only 2. Most guys can't even find the bean, right, ladies?
I will be right back because I'm going to fetch my parasol.
It takes a lot of practice to do that one, I can assure you. I flipped it beforehand, and then somehow I managed to control 2 different people who picked 2 different cards as the very first... Oh, thank you. I didn't really mean you had to give me a galaxy, but thank you. So it's even more magical if you think that I could control the audience for the first 2 cards to pop up on TikTok to be the 2 that I picked. Like, how would I even do that? Hello, welcome in. So the new people joining me on the tube. Every 50,000 likes, I'll do some type of magical illusion, and here in about 5 minutes, we're going to begin reading Varney the Vampire. This book is from the 1840s. I've got several videos on how to do my countertops. You can find them on my DIY playlist. So if you're interested in that.
I think I used my sun parasol all of once this summer.
What does that show that Penn and Teller do? You should go on there and fool us. Although I've been on stage with Penn and Teller once, it was to assist them with a trick they were doing when I was in the audience. I don't think that trick would fool Penn and Teller. They would definitely know what happened there. But, yeah.
That's my sun parasol.
They are amazing. The magicians that fool him are incredible. Or so.
I'm getting a whole pile in here in the floor.
Salt water gets absorbed, helps with electrolytes. Salt and electrolytes are basically interchangeable words. So if you're low on electrolytes, you're low on salt. Those are, there are different kinds of salts. So some salts are made with sodium, some are made with potassium, and they're all electrolytes. We love you too, Jelly.
Ooh. So Decker, you may also have like a problem. I'm guessing oxalate stones.
Yeah, that's probably oxalative kidney stones. Otherwise, the carnivore diet wouldn't make sense for that. I'm going to get you some more salt water before we start reading.
Alrighty.
Because we are getting close to the point of reading.
Sodium potassium pump. Yes, every cell in our body has one of those. Hello, Tennessee. Hello. Calcium stones. Ah. Calcium oxalate or just straight up calcium? I'm glad that you're here, John. Hello, hello. I could be more tissue. I'm missing that one. Hello, beautiful, and hello, Kentucky. Hello, hello. I'm glad that you're enjoying time with us. You have the color of red lipstick I have. Awesome. You spelled it wrong. Where am I from? I'm here in Arkansas. Hello, Utah. We use Redmond's real salt from Redmond, Utah. Aw, thank you. Thank you, thank you. No, I cannot have anything of that nature, Tyler. I'm very allergic to it. So, have I traveled much? Not as much as I would like to. You love Hot Springs, Arkansas, Sandy. I enjoy Hot Springs as well. It is a lovely place.
Here you go, darling.
What were our
I hope
careers?
you guys weren't flirting with her too much while I was gone.
I actually was a realtor for a small amount of time, and before that, I homeschooled my children. And then before that, my husband was a technology guru. He's still very good with technology. We're about going to start our story.
I'm sorry, James. That's definitely not how that is done. Somebody over here on the tube is trying to figure out how that's done, and yeah, that's not how it's done. What is my favorite thing about technology? That it can bring us closer together, and it gives us more freedom of information. So, 1,000 years ago, almost no one had access to books. There was no printing. You had to have the ability to have a scribe write down something and then translate that information. So information that somebody like me figured out couldn't be transmitted to somebody else easily. Now information flows so quickly and so incredibly that right now I'm literally talking to 711 people on the TikTok, and we've got several people here on the tube, and I post videos and hundreds of thousands of people can see them with information. We can exchange that so much, and that is an incredible superpower. And we should all be thankful for the technology and what it can do to bring us together. You were flirting like crazy with her while I was gone. Yeah, okay. So we're about to begin. Varney the Vampire. We stopped in the middle of a chapter last time, and lots and lots of things were happening, but I suppose to put you into context, Varney was running away from a mob of people that were wanting to unalive him because he's a vampire, quote unquote vampire. He had to escape. He ran several different places, ended up jumping off of or climbing down a roof via some vines, and somebody climbed down after him and fell. The vines wouldn't support that person's weight, and that person unalived as they fell. And Varney ran off into the woods and managed to lose his pursuers temporarily while he went inside of a house. And it turned out that Flora Bannerworth, of the Bannerworth family that he was trying to buy the house from, who could not stand him because he was a vampire originally, was there, and he fell at her feet. And he got to explain how he ended up there and begged for mercy and begged for their help, which they gave him. And they helped to hide him from the mob, so they became unlikely allies. And even when the mob showed up, they allowed Flora allowed him into her bedchamber in order to keep, because the mob, although they insisted on searching the house, would never go into a lady's bedroom. That was respected privacy. So they protected Varney and went through extreme, for the time, lengths in order to protect Varney. And
is Varney the Vampire based on a true story, perhaps?
So then he was explaining to them about his history and how he worked with their ancestor, Mr. Bannerworth, Marduk Bannerworth, to unalive a person in order to... Marmaduke, that's who it was. Marmaduke Bannerworth. Like the Great Dane, right? Marmaduke was a big Great Dane. So Marmaduke Bannerworth, they had worked together to try to recover some of their winnings from a man by unaliving him. They were gamblers, and then they buried him, and the deed to the Bannerworth property was in his possession when he was buried, and they never went back for it. So that was kind of an interesting detail, I think. Are there any more interesting details we need to share?
It was a deed to one of the properties the Bannerworth family owned.
Right.
That sounds pretty good. He's at the house. The mob came looking for him there, and that was pretty wild. And we're going to take up our story just after that. And for those of you who are asking about the corset, it came from Scarlet Darkness. They have a little shop right there on Amazon.
I'll be reading the parts for Varney. She'll be reading everything else. So she does the brunt of the heavy lifting when it comes to this.
Well, here I go. Hopefully my voice holds out for the evening.
Give me. I was in a very dusty environment earlier.
He's been sanding. I'm glad that he's about finished sanding that floor.
Almost done, finally. Okay, here we go.
Time flew by. The mode of passing time at the cottage was calm and serene. Varney had seldom witnessed anything like it, but at the same time he felt more at ease than ever he had. He was charmed with the society of Flora, in fact, with the whole of the little knot of individuals who there collected together. From what he saw, he was gratified in their society, and it seemed to alleviate his mental disquiet and the sense he must feel of his own particular position. But Varney became ill. The state of mind and body that he had been in for some time past might have been the cause of it. He had been much harassed and hunted from place to place. There was not a moment in which his life was not in danger, and he had, moreover, in more than one case received some bodily injuries, bruises, and contusions of a desperate character, and yet he would take no notice of them, but allowed them to get well again as best they could. His escapes and injuries had made a deep impression upon his mind, and had no doubt a corresponding effect upon his body, and Varney became very ill. Flora Bannerworth did all that could be done for one in his painful position, and this greatly added to the depth of thought that occasionally beset him, and he could scarcely draw one limb after the other. He walked from room to room in the twilight, at which time he had more liberty permitted him than any other, because there was not the same danger in his doing so. For, if once seen, there could be no matter of doubt but he would have been pursued until he was destroyed, when no other means of escape were at hand, and Varney himself felt that there could be no chance of his again escaping from them, for his physical powers were fast decaying. He was not, in fact, the same man. He came out into the parlor from the room in which he had been seated during the day. Flora and her mother were there, while Charles Holland and Henry Bannerworth had both at that moment entered the apartment.
Good evening, Miss Bannerworth,
said Sir Francis, bowing to her and then to her mother, Mrs. Bannerworth.
And you, Miss Holland, I see you have been enjoying the free breeze that plays over the hot fields. It must be refreshing.
It is so, sir,
said Charles.
I wish we could make you a partaker in our walks.
I wish you could with all my heart,
said Varney. Sir Francis, said Flora, must be a prisoner for some short time yet longer.
I ought not to consider it in any such light. It is not imprisonment. I have taken sanctuary. It is the wellspring of life to me,
said Varney. I hope it may prove so. But how do you find yourself this evening, Sir Francis Varney?
Really, it is difficult to say. I fluctuate. At times I feel as though I should drop insensible on the earth, and then I feel better than I have done for some time previously.
Dr. Chillingsworth will be here by and by, no doubt, and he must see what he can do for you to relieve you of these symptoms.
I am much beholden to you, but I hope to be able to do without the good doctor's aid in this instance, though I must admit I may appear ungrateful.
Oh, not at all, not at all.
Have you heard any of the news abroad today?
None, Sir Francis, none. There is nothing apparently stirring, and now, go out when you would find nothing but what was old, quiet, and familiar.
We cannot wish to look upon anything with more charms for a mind at ease than we can see under such circumstances, but I fear there are some few old and familiar features that I should find sad havoc in.
You would certainly, for the burnings and razings to the ground of some places have made some dismal appearances, but time may efface that, and then the evil may unalive away, and the future will become the present, should we be able to ally popular feeling.
Yes, But popular prejudice of justice or feeling are things not easily assuaged. The people, once aroused, go on to commit all kinds of excesses, and there is no point at which they will stop short of the complete extirpation of some one object or other that they have taken a fancy to hunt.
The hubbub and the excitement must subside.
The greater the ignorance, the more persevering and the more brutal they are. But I must not complain of what is the necessary consequences of their state.
It might be otherwise.
So it might, and no mischief arise either. But as we cannot divert the stream, we may as well bend it to the force of a current too strong to resist.
The moon is up, said Flora, who wished to turn the conversation from that to another topic. I see it yet yonder through the trees. It rises, red and large. It is very beautiful, and yet there is not a cloud about to give it the color and appearance it now wears.
Exactly so. But the reason is the air is filled with a light invisible, vapor that has the effect on you, that you perceive. There has been much evaporation going on now, and it shows itself in giving the moon that peculiarly large appearance and the deep color.
Oh, I see. It peeps through the trees and the branches, of which cut it up into various portions. It is singular, and yet beautiful, and yet the earth below seems dark.
It is dark. You would be surprised to find it if you walked about. It will soon be lighter than it is at this present moment. Okay. What sounds are those?
Inquired Sir Francis Varney, as he listened attentively.
Sounds?
What sounds?
Oh, sorry.
Returned Henry.
The sounds of wheels and horses' feet.
I cannot even hear them, much less can I tell what they are.
Then listen. Now they come along the road. Cannot you hear them now?
Why, yes, I can,
Said Charles Holland.
but I really don't know what they are, or what it can matter to us. We don't expect any visitors.
Certainly, certainly. I am somewhat apprehensive of the approach of strange sounds.
You're not likely to be disturbed here.
Indeed, I thought so when I had succeeded in getting into the house near this town, and so far from believing it was likely I should be discovered that I sat on the housetop while the mob surrounded it.
Did you not hear them coming?
I did.
And yet you did not attempt to escape from them.
No, I could not persuade them I was not there. Save by my utter silence, I allowed them to come too close to leave myself time to escape. Besides, I could hardly persuade myself there would be any necessity for so doing.
It was fortune. It was, as it happened afterward, that you were able to reach the wood and get out of it unperceived by the mob.
I should have been in an unfortunate condition had I been in their hands long. A man made of iron would not be able to resist the brutality of those people.
As they were speaking, a gig with 2 men drove up, followed by one on horseback. They stopped at the garden gate and then tarried to consult with each other as they looked at the house.
What can they want, I wonder? I never saw them before.
Nor I.
Do you know... Sorry, I expected that part to be read. Do you not know them at all?
No, replied Flora. I never saw them, neither can I imagine what is their object in coming here. Have you ever seen them before? Inquired Henry of his mother, who held up her hand to look more carefully at the strangers. Then, shaking her head, she declared that she had never seen such persons as those.
I dare say not, said Charles Holland. They certainly are not gentlemen, but here they come. There is some mistake, I dare say, and they don't want to come here.
As they spoke, the 2 strangers got down. After picking up a top coat that they had let fall, they turned round and deliberately put it into the cheeks again, as they walked up the path to the door, at which they knocked. The door was opened by the old woman when the 2 men entered.
Does a Francis Beauchamp live here?
Eh? Said the old woman, who was a little deaf, and she put her hand behind her ear to catch the sound more distinctly. Eh? Who did you say? Sir Francis Varney started as the sounds came upon his ear, but he sat still, an attentive listener.
Are there any strangers in the house?
Inquired the other officer impatiently. Who is here? Strangers? Said the old woman. You are the only strangers that I have seen here.
Come, said the officer to his companion. Come this way. There are people in this parlor. Our business must be an apology for any rudeness we may commit.
As he spoke, he stepped by the old woman, and laying his hand upon the handle of the door, entered the apartment, at the same time looking carefully around the room, as if he expected someone.
Ladies,
said the stranger, with an offhand politeness that had something repulsive in it, though it was meant to convey a notion that civility was indeed.
Ladies, I beg pardon for intruding, but I am looking for a gentleman.
You shall hear from me again soon,
said Sir Francis in an almost imperceptible
You shall
whisper.
hear from me again soon.
What is the object of this intrusion? Demanded Henry Bannerworth, rising and confronting the stranger. This is a strange introduction.
Yes, but not an unusual one, said the stranger. In these cases being unavoidable at the least.
Sir, if you cannot explain quickly your business here, we will proceed to take those measures which will at least rid ourselves of your company.
Softly, sir, I mean no offence, not the least, but I tell you I do not come here for any purpose that is at all consonant to my wishes. I am a Bow Street officer in the execution of me duty. Excuse me, therefore.
Whom do you want?
Francis Beauchamp, and from the peculiarity of the appearance of this individual here, I think I may safely request the pleasure of his company.
Varney now rose, and the officer made a rush at him, when he saw him do so, saying,
Surrender in the king's name!
Varney, however, paid no attention to that, but rushed past, throwing his chair down to impede the officer, who could not stay himself, but fell over it, while Varney made a rush towards the window, which he cleared at one bound, and crossing the road, was lost to sight in a few seconds, the trees and the hedges on the other side.
Accidents will happen,
said the officer, as he rose to his feet.
I did not think the fellow would have taken the window in that manner, but we have him in view, and that'll be enough.
In heaven's name, said Henry, explain all this. We cannot understand one word of it. I am at a loss to understand.
We will return and do so presently,
said the officer as he dashed out of the house after the fugitive. I got tongue-tied.
I can tell.
After the fugitive at a rapid and reckless speed, followed by his companion. The man who had been left with the chase, however, was the first in the chase. Seeing an escape from the window, he immediately guessed that he was the man wanted, and, but for an accident, he would have met Varney at the gate, for as he was getting out in a hurry, his foot became entangled with the reins, and he fell to the ground, and Varney at the same moment stepped over him.
Curses at infernal impudence, and darn these reins,
muttered the man in a fury at the accident, and the aggravating circumstances of the fugitive walking over him in the same manner, and so coolly too. Oh, it was vexing. We've got a lovely picture of Varney making his escape through the window.
Are you all right?
Here I am. The man, however, quickly released himself and rushed after Varney across the road and kept on his track for some time. The moon was still rising and shed but a gloomy light around. Everything was almost invisible until you came close to it. This was the reason why Varney and his pursuer met with several severe accidents, tumbles, and hard knocks against impediments which the light and the rapid flight they were taking did not admit of their avoiding very well. They went on for some time, but it was evident that Varney knew the place best and could avoid what the man could not, and that was the trees and the natural impediments of the ground, which Varney was acquainted with. For instance, at full speed across a meadow, a hollow would suddenly present itself, and, to an accustomed eye, the moonlight might enable it to be distinguished at a glance what it was, while to one wholly unaccustomed to it, the hollow would often look like a hillock by such a light, and this Varney would clear at a bound, which a less agile and heavier person would step into, lifting up his leg to meet the impediment, where he would find it come down suddenly, some 6 or 8 inches lower than he anticipated, almost dislocating his leg and neck, and producing a corresponding loss of breath, which was not regained by the muttered curse upon such country where places were so uneven.
All right, we're at 100,000 taps. That means it's time to do some magic. So we're going to do a little bit of magic here. I think this is going to be fun. So everybody pay attention. Every 100,000 taps, we will do some magic. I hope you enjoy your time with the vampires tonight.
Someone must have started talking about taxes.
What? Really? Why?
When you lose that kind of hardness.
Darling, you're so delightful. So wonderfully delightful. I love you.
Oh, tonight is not a hobbit night, darlings. It's vampire story night. Having come to one of these places, which was a little more perceptible than the others, he made a desperate jump, but he jumped into the middle of a hole with such force that he sprained his ankle, besides sinking to a small pond that was almost dry, being overgrown with rushes and aquatic plants.
Well,
said the other officer, coming up.
well,
Well, indeed, said the one who came first.
it's anything but well. Drat all the country's excursions, I say. Why, Bob, you don't mean to say as how you're all caught up in a rat trap?
Oh, you'll be sniggered, I am.
Yes, but are you going to stop there? Or coming out? You'll catch a cold.
I've sprained me ankle.
Well,
Oh, it ain't well, I tell you. Here am I, a sprained foot, and my wind broken for a month at least. Why were you not quicker? If you'd been sharper, we should have had the gentleman, I swear.
well, I tumbled down over the chair, and he got out the window, and I come out of the door.
Well, I got entangled in the reins, but I got off after him, only his long legs carried him over everything. I tell you what, Wilkinson, if I were to be born again and intended to be a runner, I'd bespeak a pair of long legs.
Why?
Because I should be able to get along better. You'd no idea how he skimmed along the ground. It was quite beautiful. Only, it wasn't good to follow it.
A regular skyscraper.
Yes, or something of the sort. He looked like a patent flying shadow.
Well, get up and lead the way. We'll follow you.
I dare say you will when I lead the way back there. For as to going out yonder, it's quite out of the question. I want supper tonight and breakfast tomorrow morning.
Well, what's that got to do with it?
Just this much.
If you follow any farther, you'll get into the woods and they'll be going round and round like a squirrel in a cage without being able to get out, and you'd there get none of the good things included under the head of those meals."
"I think so too," said the third. "Well then, let's go back. We needn't run through it. Might as well to do so."
"It would be anything, but well, I don't gallop back, depend on it."
The three men now slowly returned from their useless chase, and retrod the way they had passed once in such a hurry that they could hardly recognize it. "What a dreadful bump I came across that pole standing there," said one.
"Oh yes, and I came against a hedge stake that was placed so that the moon didn't show any light on it. It came into the pit of me tummy. I never recollect such a plain in me life, for all the world like a hot coal being suddenly and forcibly intruded into your stomach."
"Well, here's the road. I must go up to the house where I started from. I promised them some explanation. I might as well go and give it to them at once."
"Do as you will. I'll wait with the horse, else perhaps that Beauchamp will again return and take him."
The officer who had first entered the house now returned to the Bannerworth, saying, "I promised you I'd give you some explanation as to what you've witnessed." "Yes, we have been awaiting your return with some anxiety and curiosity. What is the meaning of all this? I am, as we are all, in perfect ignorance of the meaning of what took place." "Well, I'll tell you. The person who you had here goes by the name of Varney. His name is Francis Beauchamp." "Indeed, are you assured of this?" "Oh yes, perfectly assured of it. I have it in me warrant to apprehend him by either name." "And what crime has he been guilty of?" "I'll tell you what, he's already been hanged." "Hanged?" exclaimed everyone present. "What do you mean by that?" added Henry. "I'm at a loss to understand what you can mean by saying that he has been hanged." "Well, what I say is literally true. Pray tell us all about it." "Tell us all about it." "Sorry?" "We are much interested in the fact, so go on, sir." "Well, sir, then I believe it was from being an unaliver that Francis Beauchamp was hanged. Yes, hanged, a common execution before a multitude of the people collected to witness such an exhibition." "Good God! And but that is impossible. An unalived man come to life again. You must be amusing yourself at our expense." "Oh, not I," replied the officer. "Here is my warrant, and they don't make these out in a joke." As he spoke, he produced the warrant, when it was evident the officer spoke the truth. "And how was this?" "Well, I'll tell you, sir. You see that this Varney's a regular scamp, gangster and a rogue and an unaliver. He was hanged, and hung about the usual time. He was cut down, and the body was given to someone for dissecation, when the surgeon, with the hangman one Montgomery, succeeded in restoring the criminal to life." "But I always thought that they broke the neck when they were hanged. The weight of the body would alone do that." "Oh dear no, sir," said the officer. "That is one of the common everyday mistakes. They don't break the neck once in 20 times. "Indeed?" No, they in lives from suffocation only. This man Beauchamp was hanged thus, but they contrived to restore him, and then he assumed a new name and left London." "But how did you come to know all of this?" "Oh, it came to us as many things usually do, in a very extraordinary manner, and in a manner that appears most singular and out of the way, but such as it was. The executioner, who was the means of his being restored, or one of them, wished to turn him into account, and used to draw a yearly sum of money from him, as hush money, to induce him to keep the secret, else all fact of him having escaped punishment would subject him to a repetition of the same punishment, when of course
a little more care would be taken that he did not escape a second time.
I dare say not.
Well, you see, Varney, or rather Beauchamp, was to pay a heavy sum to this man to keep him quiet and to permit him to enjoy the life he had so strangely become possessed of. I see,
said Charles Holland.
Well, this man, Montgomery, had always some kind of suspicion that Varney would unalive him.
Unalive him? And he being the means of saving his life. Surely he could not be so bad as that.
Why, you see, sir, this hangman drew a heavy sum yearly from him, thus making him only a mine of wealth to himself. This, no doubt, would rankle in the other's heart to think that he should be so beset and hold his life upon such terms.
Oh, I see now.
Oh, yes, and then came the consideration that he did not do it from any good motive, merely a selfish one, and he was consequently under no obligation to him for what he had done. Besides, self-preservation might urge him on and tell him to do the deed. However that might be, Montgomery dreaded it, and was resolved to punish the deed if he could not prevent it. He therefore left general orders with his wife, whenever he went on a journey, to Varney, that if he should be gone beyond a certain time, she was to open a certain drawer and to take out a selected packet to the magistrate and the chief office who would attend to it. He had been missing. He and his wife did as she was desired, and now we have found that there be mentioned to be true. But now, sir, I have satisfied you and explained to you why we intruded in your parlour. We must now leave and seek for him elsewhere.
It is most extraordinary. That is the reason why his complexion is so singular.
Very likely.
They poured out some wine which was handed to the officers, who drank and then quitted the house, leaving the inmates in a state of stupefaction, from surprise and amazement at what they had heard from the officers. There was a strange feeling came over them when they recollected the many occurrences that they had witnessed, and even the explanation of the officers. It seemed as if some mist had enveloped objects and rendered them indistinct, but which was fast rising, and they were becoming plainer and more distinct every moment in which they were regarded. There was a long pause, and Flora was about to speak, when suddenly there came a sound of footsteps across the garden. It was slow but unsteady, and passed between while until it came close beneath the windows. They remained silent, and then someone was heard to climb up the rails of the veranda. And then the curtains were thrust aside, but not till after the person outside had paused to ascertain who was there. Then the curtains were opened, and the vestige of Sir Francis Varney appeared, much altered, in fact completely worn and exhausted. It was useless to deny it, but he looked ghastly, terrific. His singular vestige was pallid as unalive, and his eyes were almost protruding, his mouth opened, and his breathing short and labored in the extreme. He climbed over with much difficulty, and staggered into the room, and would have spoken, but he could not. He fell senseless upon the floor, utterly exhausted and motionless. There was a long pause, and each one present looked at each other, and then they gazed upon the inanimate body of Sir Francis Varney, which lay supine and senseless in the middle of the floor. Good break time.
Yes, it seems like an excellent break time. Thank you, and to everybody on the Tube and also on the TikTok that are joining us. I very much enjoy listening to her read. I hope you all appreciate it as well. She puts an incredible amount of effort into this every week, reading it in advance, highlighting lines for me to read, practicing her voices and all the things necessary to entertain you. So your gifts and everything are obviously appreciated. Subscriptions, those kinds of things help us greatly as creators. But every Wednesday evening, we will do this. What's my favorite vampire movie? Lost Boys is hard to beat. I mean, that's an 80s movie, which are obviously better than other movies in general. But there are a number of very enjoyable vampire movies out there. Dogs are great. We love dogs.
Thank you so much.
Did I enjoy Sinners? Yeah, it was enjoyable. I was a little disappointed with it. I really wanted a good Boo Hag movie. We've never had a Boo Hag movie as a culture, and Boo Hags were a part of Southern mythology for so long, and we even painted our porches a specific color to prevent Boo Hag infestations from happening, and yet we had the opportunity to have a Boo Hag movie, and we decided to make it a vampire movie. Are you feeling okay, dear? You're kind of coughing. Darling, are you okay? What? What? What's going on? Darling. Ah. What's this all about? You're scaring me. Ah. Good grief. What did you just walk into? Nothing as strange as what we were doing in your mom's bedroom last night.
Ah, thank you. I had a little frog in my throat.
Yeah, I could see why you might have been feeling a little under the weather there. Is it too warm for you in here?
I'm actually a little toasty.
Wow. That's a shocker.
No, that's the shocker.
I don't know what you just signed up for to come in here, but if you've never followed us, if that didn't convince you to follow us, I don't know what will. That's the funniest thing I'll see all week, I bet. Welcome in Trinidad.
Nice.
What a wonderful place to be. How many properties do I have? I have 20. What's one book that inspires me? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You can find it on my TikTok showcase, and highly recommend it. You can find it almost anywhere. It's been translated into like every language on the planet, and you should read it if you haven't done so. Because of your credit advice, I now have 200 credit cards. Wow, Dylan, that's a little bit extreme, but in theory, that will definitely...
That's amazing.
That will make your credit very, very high score as those age. It'll take it a few years for those to age when you have that many.
How did you ever get approved for so many all at once?
Yes,
that's amazing.
That's incredible. I'd love to hear your method for that. You know, I have about 25-ish, something like that. Jesse, quit looking for an easy way out and just face the fact that it's going to suck. It'll be okay. You can get through it.
No, we're supposed to ask for permission to enter.
We actually need 24-hour notice permission before we enter, or a specific invitation from them to arrive. To answer your wife's question, 60% phosphate, 40% oxalate. I do not know what we're talking about, but
stones, kidney stones.
Yeah, well, a significant reduction if you reduce your number of oxalates, then. So.
Well, what I would suggest to you is to read Dr. Sally K. Norton's book about toxic superfoods. She addresses oxalates a lot because she had a large problem with oxalates.
So do you need a high school diploma or a GED to be able to sell houses? Officially, yes. But no one will ever ask to see it, and yes, you can go get your real estate license, and no one will ask in 99.9% of cases. My wife stressed about that when she was getting her real estate license.
I did.
She's like, Shane, I need a copy of my diploma.
I contacted the school in order to make sure to have a copy,
and I told her,
find mine.
I told her, nobody's going to care. And she's like, no, it says so. If you read online, it says I have to present this and prove it. And I'm like, nobody's going to check. Nobody's going to check. There's no way They're going to check. And did they check?
They did not.
No.
After all the effort I went through to make sure that I had a copy of my high school diploma, and they never checked.
Yep. And most places never will. You can do all sorts of things on this planet. If you just say you have a high school diploma, no one's ever going to check. It's more or less just a test to see if you're willing to check a box. That's all that's really about. No one will ever look. Billy has an important question for me. I can't imagine what it might be, Billy. Do evil spirits believe in us, Smithers? That's a much more interesting question than do you believe in evil spirits. Do evil spirits believe in us? Do they tell stories about us? Dream vacation spot. There's a lot of places we want to go. Of course, Billy, we oiled up today. Yes, Casey's fixing the floor, and it's turning out delightful. I need to do an update on Casey's house soon.
Who is our friend in the other chat?
This is James, and he's been here with us this whole time. James could also be a lady, of course.
Lovely.
I'm not sure which, but...
I enjoy you guys being here with us. Hello, Australia.
Favorite universal monster? Oh.
Dracula.
Dracula worked. The Wolfman was... That's a... Man... Universal monsters, I don't know. They're all great.
Have you seen the Care Bears and the Universal Monster collaboration? Oh my goodness. They're so cute.
Welcome in, Gulfport, Mississippi. I hope we have some people from all over in here. We've got about 500 people in TikTok right now. Got a couple people in on the Tube audience. So welcome in, everybody.
So if you are a lover of Care Bears and a lover of the Universal Monsters, they are so cute.
We do not match
Hola.
on purpose. We just happen to be dressed similarly.
Bienvenidos a mi story time.
You wouldn't have the job you had if they checked. James says, yeah, if they checked high school diplomas, you wouldn't have the job you have. Yeah, most places don't check.
Look a little like the professional wrestler Bret Hart. He gets that sometimes.
Yeah, TikTok has a delay of 5 seconds, and that gets confusing for us as well. That is normal for them to be seen with a delay. I think that's so that it can be cut off whenever something is detected.
Yes, the AI.
To help prevent people from doing things TikTok doesn't want.
The AI makes sure to review the footage before our friends see it. Thank you.
Ah,
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
yes, these teeth are real.
Thank you so much.
All right, I think it's time we get started with our story again.
Is
Are
my
you okay?
voice ready? I think so.
Is it ready? If
I
not,
guess-
we can delay a little bit longer. We're 30,000 more taps away from a magic trick. Every 50,000 taps, I will do magic for you.
Now, you may remember from last week's tale. Pardon me. You may remember from last week's tale that there was an unaliving that Mr. Varney took part in, as well as the father of our wonderful family, the Bannerworths. And that on the body was a deed to a property. And now that is a very, very important thing that should potentially help the Bannerworths. And the importance of this document, said to be on the body, was such that it would admit of no delay before it was obtained, and the party determined that it should be commenced instanter.
I don't know what that means. There are definitely, this story was written in the 1840s. Some words are no longer in use that are in here, and it can make it a little bit confusing.
It's literally instanter. Like instant, but with an on the
Instanter.
end. Instanter.
Instanter. More instant.
I like the word that we've gotten here on Varney, super added. So, not a hard word necessarily, but just super added. So the circumstances super added all these feelings. Yeah, super added. Anyway, back to our tale.
Sorry.
It's all right. The party
party determined that it should be commenced instantaneer. Lost time would be an object to them. Too much haste could hardly be made, and now came the question of, should it be tonight or not?
Certainly, said Henry Bannerworth. The sooner we can get it, the sooner all doubt of distress will be at an end. And considering the run of events, that will be desirable for all of our sakes. Besides, we know not what unlucky accident may happen to deprive us of what is so necessary.
There can be none,
said Mr. Chillingsworth.
but there is this to be said. This has been such an eventful history that I cannot say what might or what might not happen. Well, we may as well go this very night, said Charles Holland. I give my vote for an immediate exhumation of the body. The night is somewhat stormy, but nothing more. The moon is up, and there will be plenty of light.
And rain, said the doctor.
Little or none, said Charles Holland. A few gusts of wind now and then drive a few heavy plashes of rain against the windows, and that gives a fearful sound, which is in fact nothing when you have to encounter it. But will you go, doctor?
Oh yes, most certainly. We must have some tools. Those may be had from the garden, said Henry. Tools for the exhumation, you mean?
Yes. Pickaxe, mattocks, and a crowbar.
A lantern.
And so forth, said the doctor. You see, I am at home in this. The fact is that I have had more than one affair of this kind on my hands before now, and whilst a student, I have had more than one adventure of a strange character.
I dare say, doctor, you have some sad prank to answer for you do not think of it then, only when you find it accumulated in a heap, so that you shall not be able to escape from them, because they come over on your senses when you sleep at night.
No, no, no. You are mistaken in that. I have long since settled all my accounts of that nature. Besides, I never took a body out of a grave, but in the name of science, and never for my own profit, seeing that I never sold one in my life or got anything by it.
That is not the fact, said Henry. You know, doctor, that you improved your own talents and knowledge.
Well, yes, I did.
Well, but you profited by such improvements.
Well, granted that I did. How much more did the public not benefit then? Said the doctor with a smile.
Ah, well, we won't argue the question, said Charles. Only it strikes me that the doctor could never have been a doctor if he had not determined upon following a profession.
There may be a little truth in that, said Chillingsworth. But now we had better quit the house and make the best of our way to the spot where the unfortunate man lies buried in his unhallowed grave.
Come with me to the garden, then, said Henry Bannerworth. We shall there be able to suit ourselves of what is required. I have a couple of lanterns.
One is enough, said Chillingsworth. We had better not burden ourselves more than we are obliged to do, and we shall find enough to do with the tools.
Yes, they are not light, and the distance is by far too great to make walking agreeable and easy. The wind blows strong, and the rain appears to be coming up afresh, and by the time we have done, we shall find the ground will become slippy and bad for walking.
Can we have a conveyance? No, said the doctor. We could, but we must trouble the turnpike man. Besides, there is a shorter way across some fields, which will be better and safer. Well, said Charles Holland. I do not mind which way it is, as long as you are satisfied yourselves. The horse and the cart would have settled it all the better and done it quicker, besides carrying the tools. True, very true, said the doctor. All that is not without its weight, and you shall choose which way you would have it done. For my part, I'm persuaded for the expedition on foot is to be preferred for 2 reasons. And what are they? The first is that we cannot obtain a horse and cart without giving some detail as to what you want it for, which is awkward on account of the hour. Moreover, you could not get one at this moment in time.
That ought to settle the argument, said Henry Bannerworth. An impossibility under the circumstances at once is a censure, and one that will be allowed to have some weight.
You may say that, said Charles. Besides which you must go a greater distance, and that too along the main road, which is objectionable.
Then we are agreed. And the sooner we're off for the better. The night grows more and more gloomy every hour, and more inclement.
It will serve our purpose to the better, said Chillingsworth. What we do, we may as well do now.
Come to the garden, said Henry, and we will take the tools. We can go out the back way, and that will preclude any observation being made. They all now left the apartment, wrapped up in great overcoats to secure themselves against the weather, and also for the purpose of concealing themselves from any chance passenger. In the garden, they found the tools that they required, and having chosen them, they took a lantern, with the means of getting a light when they got to their journey's end, which they would do in less than an hour. After having duly inspected the state of their efficacy, they started away on their expedition. The night had turned gloomy and windy. Heavy driving masses of clouds obscured the moon, which only now and then was to be seen, and when the clouds permitted her to peep out. At the same time, there were many drifting showers, which lasted but a few minutes, and then the clouds were carried forward by some sudden gust of wind, so that altogether it was a most uncomfortable night, as well as could be imagined. However, there was no time to lose, and, under all the circumstances, they could not have chosen a better night for their purpose than the one that they had. Indeed, they could not desire another night to be out on such a purpose. They spoke not while they were within sight of the houses, though at the distance of many yards, and at the same time there was a noise through the trees that would have carried their voices past every object, however close, but they would make an assurance doubly sure. I think we are fairly away now, said Henry, from all the fear of being recognized.
To be sure we are. Who would recognize us now if we were met?
No one.
I should think not. And moreover, there would be but small chance of any evil coming from it, even if it were to happen that we were to be seen and known. Nobody knows what we are going to do, and if they did, there is no illegality in the question.
Certainly not, but we wish that the matter be quite secret. Therefore, we don't wish to be seen by anyone while upon this adventure.
Exactly, said Chillingsworth. And if you follow my guidance, you shall meet nobody.
We will trust you, and most worthy doctor. What have you to say for our confidence?
That you will find it is not misplaced.
Just as the doctor had uttered the last sound, there came a hearty laugh upon the air, which indeed sounded but a few paces in advance of them. The wind blew towards them, and would therefore cause the sound to come to them, but not to go away in the direction they were going. The whole party came to a sudden standstill. There is something so strange in hearing a laugh at that moment, especially as Chillingsworth was, at that moment, boasting of his knowledge of the ground and the certainty of their meeting no one.
Someone just told us that we are popular in Norway
Really?
in the chat.
How
I've never thought
wonderful.
of being popular in Norway. That's awesome. Norway, like the Norwegians I've met, have always been so kind and pleasant.
How
And
wonderful.
tall. They're very tall there.
Mhm.
Sorry.
That's all right. That is quite delightful. What is that? Inquired Henry.
Someone laughing, I think, said Chillingsworth. Of that there can be little or no doubt, said Charles Holland. And, as people do not usually laugh by themselves so heartily, it may be presumed that there are at least two. No doubt of it. And moreover, their purpose cannot be a very good one at this hour of the night, and of such a night too, I think that we had better be cautious.
Hush! Follow me silently, said Henry. As he spoke, he moved most cautiously from the spot where he stood, and at that same time he was followed by the whole party until they came to the hedge which skirted a lane in which were seated 3 men. They had a sort of tent erected, and that was hung upon a part of the hedge which was to windward of them, so that it sheltered from the wind and rain. Henry and Chillingsworth both peeped over the bank, and saw them seated beneath this kind of canopy. They were shabby, gypsy-looking men, who might be something else, sheep-stealers, or horse-stealers, in fact, anything, even to beggars.
"I say, Jack," said one, "'tis no bottle tonight." "No, there's nobody about these parts tonight. We are safe, and so are they." "Exactly. Besides, you see, those who do happen to be out are not worth talking to. No cash. None. Not enough to pay a turnpike for a walking stick at the most. Well, besides, it does us no good to take a few shillings from a poor wretch who has no more in family than he has shillings in his pocket."
I better say that again.
Probably.
"It does us no good to take a few shillings from a poor wretch who has more in family than he has in shillings in his pocket." "Aye, you're quite right. I don't like it myself. I don't. Besides, there's fresh risk in every man you stop, and these poor fellows will fight hard for a few shillings, and there's no knowing what an unlucky blow may do for a man." "Oh, that's very true. Has anything been done tonight?" "Nothing," said one. "Only 3 half-crowns," said the other. "That's the extent of the common purse tonight." "And I," said the third, "have got a bottle of bad gin from the Cat and Cabbage Stump." "Well, how'd you manage that?" "Why, this way. I went in and had some beer, and you know, I can give it a long yarn when I want. But it wants only a little to care to deceive these knowing countrymen. So I talked and talked until they got quite chatty, and then I put the gin in me pocket." "Well, good." "Well, then, the loaf and the beef I took out of the safe as I came by, and I dare say they know that they've lost it by this time." "Well, yes, and so do we. I expect the gin will help to digest the beef, so we mustn't complain of the goods." No, give us another glass, Jim." Jim held the glass towards him when the doctor, animated by the spirit of mischief, took a good-sized pebble and threw it into the glass, smashing it and spilling all the contents. In a moment there was a change of scene. The men were all terrified and started to their feet, while a sudden gust of wind caused their light to go out. At the same time, their tent cloth was thrown down by the wind and fell across their heads. "Come along," said the doctor. There was no need in saying so, for in a moment the 3 were as if animated by one spirit, and away they scuttled across the fields with the speed of a racehorse. In a few moments they were better than half a mile away from the spot. In absence of all authentic information, said the doctor, speaking as well as he could, and blowing prodigiously between each word, as though he were fetching breath all the way from his heels, "I think that we may conclude that we are safe from them. We ought to thank our stars that we came across them the way that we did." "But, doctor, what in the name of heaven induced you to make such a noise to frighten them? In fact, and to tell them someone was about?" "Well, they're too much terrified to tell whether it was 1 or 50. By this time that they are out of their country, they knew what they were talking about." "And perhaps we may meet them on the road where we are going, thinking it a rare and lonely spot where they came to hide, and no chance of their being found out." "No, they will not go to such a place, and it has by far too bad a name for even such men as those to go near. much less stop in. Well, I can hardly think that, said Charles Holland. For if these fellows are too terrified for their personal safety to think of the superstitious fears which a place may be regarded, and these men in such a place as the one you speak of, they will be at home. Well, will rather be done. We must fight for it. And when you come to consider we have 1 pick and 2 shovels, we shall be in full force.
Well said. How far have we to go?
Not more than 1/4 of a mile.
They pushed their way through the fields and under the hedgerows until they came to a gate, where they stopped a while and began to consult and to listen. A few yards up here on the left, said the doctor. I know the spot. Besides, there is a particular mark. Now, then, are you all ready? Yes, all. Here, said the doctor, pointing out the marks by which the spot might be recognized. Here is the spot, and I think that we shall not be half a foot out of our reckoning. Then let us begin instanter. There's that word again.
Instanter, yes, that's the second usage of it in this chapter.
Said Henry, as he seized a hold of a pickaxe and began to loosen the earth by means of the sharp end.
That will do for present,
said Chillingworth. Oh, I said the wrong voice. My finger was covering up the name and I thought it was Charles.
I love you so much, dear.
I'm-
Take a moment after
I'm
you
going
get
to need a moment,
Yeah.
yes.
That will do for the present, said Chillingworth. Now let me and Charles take a turn with our shovels, and you will get on again presently. Throw the earth up on the bank in 1 heap so that we can put it on again without any attracting any attention to the spot by its being left in clods and uneven.
Exactly, else the body will be discovered. They began to shovel away and continued to do so after it had been picked up, working alternately until at length Charles struck his pickaxe into something soft, and upon pulling it up, he found that it was the body. A dreadful odor now arose from the spot, and they were at no loss to tell where the body lay. The pickaxe had struck into the deceased's ribs and clothing, and thus lifted it out of place.
Someone has just told me that they could make me leather cuffs that have the souls of several humans in them. And that's an awful fine offer. I'm very excited about that offer. We have a picture to look at.
We do have a picture. They're at their work. Digging.
I've never exhumed a body. Have you ever exhumed a body?
I can't say that I have.
How many of you have exhumed bodies? Just curious.
Buried some animal bodies. We buried a horse. And there was always a depression in the ground where the horse had been.
Yeah. Is it decomposed?
As it decomposed, yes. I must say, though, they're talking about roughly 10 years from the time that this poor gentleman was unalived.
And they still expect the paper to be good.
Yes, and they still also, have.
I guess if it was maybe
odor.
a parchment or something, it might last longer.
Perhaps, but I don't think a body just being buried in the earth and not having any preservatives would still very much be there 10 years later.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just saying.
Thank you everyone for joining us both on the tube and on TikTok. I appreciate you guys. We're just starting to get growing on one of these, but we've got a little over 360 people here on TikTok. Make sure to tap, tap, tap. We're almost to 150,000 likes, which is when we'll do another magic trick. So maybe you should just wait a moment and we'll do some magic for everyone here.
Me? Are you saying that I should wait?
Wait, yeah, we're almost to 150,000. I trust that my TikTok folks are over there tapping away right now like, I gotta do this really quick. Have we ever read the Necroscope series by Brian Lumley? No, I have not read that. That sounds like an interesting one. I've not heard of it. It sounds science fiction-y. So we're over 150,000. Let's do some magic. All right, let's see. Should we do something dangerous? Should we do something with coins? What would we like to see here?
A D20.
A D20. Let's see. They
You
say
should probably figure out something fun to do with one of these sometime.
I've thought about it. I've got a thing in mind. So what we have here, now, I'm not Penn and Teller, so working with blades and things like that I think would be a little bit challenging. I'm still a beginner, so we're using wood, but it's quite solid, as you can see here. Now, it fits, and this opens up so you can see there's no tricks to this or anything. It fits right through just like this. See that? So if there's an object in here, even pressing out, it's going to stay put. Very simple, right? Very, very simple. Now, traditionally, a magician is going to ask for the assistance of a lovely lady. Fortunately, I happen to have one next to me. We haven't messed it up in a while, dear. We messed this up a lot when we first started, and so she's always a little timid. But I think I've got the technique down correctly again. You ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. There we go.
Oh, my dear Herlum heel. If you say there's actually little signs that you can put up in the bathroom that say that. Please don't summon demons in the bathroom.
Yes, it's not the place you want to go. Yep, her arm survived. I hope you enjoy that. Every 50,000 taps, I'll perform some type of magical illusion for you. I think I'll do coins on the next one. So 50,000 taps, and we'll play with some quarters, and I think you'll enjoy that very much. All right, has that been enough for you to get untongue-tied and ready to go?
For a little bit at least. A dreadful odor now arose from the spot, and they were at no loss to tell where the body lay. The pickaxe had struck into the deceased's ribs and clothing, and thus lifted it out of place. "Here it is," said the doctor, "but I needn't tell you that. The charnel house smell is enough to convince you of that fact of where it is."
I think so. Just show a light upon the subject, Doctor, and then we can see what we're about. Do you mind, Doctor? You have the management of the lantern, you know.
"Yes, yes," said Chillingworth. "I see you have it. Don't be in a hurry, but do things deliberately and coolly. Whatever you do, you will not be so liable to make mistakes or to leave anything undone."
There will be nothing of any use to you here, Doctor, for way of dissection, for the flesh is of one mass of decay. What a horrible sight, to be sure.
"It is, but hasten the search."
Well, I must, though, confess the truth. I'd sooner handle anything than this.
"It is not the most pleasant thing in the world, for there is no knowing what may be the result, what creeping thing has made a home of it."
Don't mention anything about it.
Henry and Charles now began to search the pockets of all the clothes of the body, in one of which was something hard and felt like a parcel. "What have you got there?" said Chillingworth, as he held his lantern up so that the light fell upon... Pardon me. "What have you got there?" said Chillingworth, as he held the lantern up so that the light fell upon the ghastly object that they were handling.
Didn't we get in trouble for that one
Yes,
before?
we have to be careful. This is for entertainment purposes only, but someone's asking about it.
Mm-hmm.
We might be able to do that as a trick. Continue.
The algorithm doesn't love it, though.
I know. We're almost finished reading though, so.
"I think this is the prize," said Charles Holland, "but we have not got it out yet, though I dare say that it won't be long first, if this wind will but hold good for about 5 minutes and keep the stench down." They now tore open the packet and pulled out the papers, which appeared to have been secreted upon his person. "Be sure that there is nothing hidden on any other part of the body," said Chillingsworth. because what you do now, you had better do well, and leave nothing to afterthought, because it is frequently impracticable."
"The advice is good," said Henry, who made a second search, but found nothing.
"We'd better rebury him," said the doctor. "It had better be done cleanly."
"Well, it is a sad hole for the last resting place, and yet I do not know that it matters. It is all a matter of taste, the fashion of the class, or the particular custom of the country." There was but little to be said against such an argument, though the custom of the age had caused them to look upon it more as a matter of feeling than in such a philosophical sense as that in which the doctor had put it. "Well, there he is now. Shovel the earth in." "Charles," said Henry, as Henry Bannerworth himself set the example, which was speedily and vigorously followed by Charles Holland, when they were not long before the earth was thrown in and covered up with care, and trodden down so that it should not appear to be moved. "This will do, I think," said Henry.
"Yes, it is not quite the same, but I dare say that no one will try to make any discoveries in this place. Besides, if the rain continues to come down very heavily, why, it will wash much of it away, and it will make it look all alike."
There was a little inducement to hover about the spot, but Henry could not forbear holding up the papers to the light of the lantern to ascertain what they were.
"Are they all right?"
inquired the doctor. "Yes, oh yes, the Deerbrook estate, oh yes, they are the papers that I am in want of."
"It is singularly fortunate, at least, to be so successful in securing them. I am very glad a living person has possession of them, else it would have been very difficult to have obtained it from them."
"So it would, but now homeward is the word, doctor, and I am on my word, there is reason to be glad, for the rain is coming on very fast now, and there is no moon at all. We'd better step on." They did, for the three walked as fast as nature of the soil would permit them, and the darkness of night.
Ah, the end of that chapter. That's the longest chapter by far in that book. That took us 2 weeks just to read that, which we only read on Wednesday night, just to read that one chapter. Okay, so we have a special request from our TikTok audience for a trick that I don't get to do for TikTok because TikTok doesn't like this trick. But it does involve this object, which is for educational purposes only. So I'm going to throw something over the camera, and those of you that are on my
that's
tube,
ghastly for them.
those that are on the tube will get to watch me.
Ew, that's terrible.
As I
You like the
attempt,
battle
I have to
gear.
line everything up just right. Hang on.
You would love to see me stand up.
Here we go.
I'll show you. That'll work. I'll be there right there.
Ah. Ah.
Hi. You can see both?
Ah.
Oh dear. There he is.
Oh. Ah. I think you were holding that in the way. I hope not. But oh well. I'm not doing that again. When I got up, the rag was covering my face where you were holding it in the air on the YouTube. It's hard to manage both screens at once.
No, it wasn't on your face there.
It was like this. So it was in front of me here on this camera, I believe.
Was it?
Yes, I think so. But
Did I fail?
I think so. That was awesome, and you saw it. All right. Awesome. 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 And if you haven't followed me before on the tube, I would appreciate it. We're trying to grow that channel, and also on the correct FB because I have a blue verification for Shane is Great on both platforms. You can look for me, Shane is Great. Follow me there. There's a person that's an imposter stealing my content with like 130,000 followers on that platform. That is not me. Please follow the correct Shane.
TikTok has asked if they can see my outfit.
I suppose so.
So,
if you're willing to show off your
Yes,
outfit.
they want me to stand up, so you need to
Okay.
scooch over. Scooch over.
I'll scooch over.
Scooch over.
I'll give you guys some room. Okay. All right.
So I didn't wear socks and shoes.
Isn't she gorgeous?
So the skirt was from, and the top were from the bin store, but this top is Scarlet Darkness, and then this is Scarlet Darkness. So Amazon brand, Scarlet Darkness. You should check them out.
All right. Whew.
Well, it's 8:15, so I think I'm not going to read any more for the evening because I don't think we would get through the next chapter at all.
I agreed. I think we'll begin that at the next one.
So now it's just hangout
Yeah,
time.
hangout time.
You're just starting carnivore diet. Any advice? Keep butter around.
Lots of butter. Eat so much butter. Every time you get a craving for something that isn't meat, eat some butter. Just right off the stick is fine. You could do a stick and a half of butter a day. It doesn't matter if you eat too much. It's just going to end up in the toilet. It's not going to hurt you. Eat lots and lots and lots of butter. The other thing would be salt. Lots of salt. So much more salt than you're used to eating. That will help you to not get cramps and headaches and some of the other things.
You'll get another chapter next Wednesday night.
Next Wednesday night.
It's just getting too late to start another chapter, my friends.
Varney the Vampire is what we're reading, for those asking.
Thank you.
Yeah, butter will make sure you are not clogged up. You will not. Everybody always worries about getting constipated since we don't do any fiber on the carnivore diet. But
there's medicine at the store for hemorrhoids, my dear.
You're an independent contractor, and you're literally living my. Well, start from wherever you are, and then do it. It's you can definitely do this. I was just a technology guy until she got the board game that we played, and then a few weeks later I became a real estate guy. Sometimes things change in ways you don't expect.
Oh, well, we enjoy butter, yes. We enjoy it just to eat it.
What time for reading? Every Wednesday at 7 Central. We just finished.
What is our favorite vampire movie? Lost Boys. Can we use spice on the meat or just salt? Some people at the beginning still use spice, but
we used like onion powder and some black pepper, things like that at the beginning, but you'll find you don't care for it after a while. You just won't like it as much as you used to.
And I don't recommend spices, especially if you are suffering from any booty problems, my friend.
My husband builds houses and does HVAC and other things, so we have really love to see your videos on fixing up the houses. I'm glad we can inspire you guys.
Interview with the Vampire is lovely.
What board game did I say? It's called Cash Flow. I'll put it in the showcase here on TikTok for those of you who are interested in getting into real estate investing. This is literally what I did to start real estate investing, or what she made me do. I was resistant.
I made him.
I was like, nah, I'm not going to learn anything from a board game. And she's like, I heard about it on a podcast, and it's going to teach. It's going to teach us how to make money. And I'm like, I'm not going to learn to make money from a board game. I was wrong. She was right. We played it once. Literally didn't even make it all the way through the game before I was already sold on I have to be a real estate investor.
There are only 4 chapters to the end of the first volume of Varney the Vampire.
So we'll be finishing the first volume probably in 2 weeks.
How exciting.
How's the recent eviction coming? I will give you an update when we have an update ready.
That was showing a little hip there, didn't we?
Yeah, a little bit of side hip there. Cash flow is what it's called. If you're in the United States, it should be pinned as an item. Is Interview with the Vampire as good as the Lost Boys? No, but Lost Boys has an advantage. You see, it was made in the 80s. And every movie made in the 80s is pretty much better than movies made any other decade. And Interview with the Vampire is a very good movie for being made in the 90s. But it's not an 80s movie. I mean...
And the art on these is the original woodblock prints from 1840s.
How long have you been into humans? Somebody asks how long we've been into vampires.
No.
How long have you been into humans?
No, these books were written in the 1840s. They are originally penny dreadfuls, which would be little short stories that you'd be able to put in your pocket, and they would release them kind of like we do comic books today. So one after the other, maybe a couple weeks apart, and you would have them in your pocket and you'd be like reading them when you had a few moments. Of course, those that could read. These books are from a time when probably half the population could not read.
I love the original Fright Night. I do think that is an excellent.
Yeah, Fright
I think that's an excellent vampire movie.
I didn't quite do that right.
Try it again.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've actually heard it.
Yep.
Yeah, Fright Night.
You're getting closer, but not quite.
I'd have to hear it. Centaur World. Yeah.
Fright Night scared you? Centaur World is wonderful. That's one of those that if you've never seen, that is a very surprisingly delightful show.
Mm-hmm. Where are my fangs? I've already eaten, darling.
Yes. They generally show when we're ready to feed. I usually will fast before our vampire story night, so my fangs are very prominent.
He's hungry a lot more often than I am. He can't do that movie either, Kelly. Don't worry. Nosferatu. Yes, we liked Nosferatu. I love you.
I think it's time we go to bed.
Sweet dreams, all of my sweet friends.
I love you guys. Bye.